Karina Eskandary.
Hi, Mark.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
My name is easier to pronounce.
Karina's not hard.
No, not Karina.
We did have to practice the last name a few times.
This is your second time here in a week.
That's right.
Training last week?
Yes.
How did the training go?
It went really well. Your agents are really sweet. It was awesome. I love teaching the course, so I always get super pumped. We did have the fire alarm going off.
It was terrible. I was trying
I
to...
think every,
yeah.
few minutes, so it was hard to power through that, but we did, and...
I had a conference call, a long conference call at the time, and it was just like I was constantly muting and trying to...
Oh, man.
Yeah, good times. For some reason, the fire alarm's always going off here. Tell me about the course. What was the course that you did for our agents?
So it was an Instagram, I call it my Instagram bootcamp. It's a 3-hour intensive course, basically, where I go through, it's not an Instagram, how to use Instagram beginner's course at all. It's essentially how to effectively use Instagram to actually generate business. Because I think a lot of agents, they think they know how they're using Instagram, or they have a lot of likes and followers, so they equate that to being like using Instagram in the right way, but they're not getting the return on investment which they should, which is doing deals or getting leads. So the program I created was basically training agents what is required in your Instagram content, plus the secret sauce back-end stuff that no one really talks about.
So important.
I find most people, any social media kind of course I've seen has been, just be authentic, do video, but it doesn't really still explain, well, what is the strategy of how I'm getting leads here? And what am I doing in the back end to make that conversion? We dive a little bit deeper than just that stuff.
Not to jump into the whole course here and teach a course right now, but what are the high level? I agree with you because so many people are building content or just posting and posting this and posting that with no real strategy. So what are the high level talking points for that program?
The high level talking points is you need to, just like any database, you need to understand where your lead is in their journey. So you need to break down your followers as a database and understand who you are putting what type of content to. And that's the key. It's truly understanding what your database is doing and where they're at.
Yeah, we like to say, most realtors, I think probably 97% of them out there, when they're sending out content, whether it be email campaigns or whatnot, they're sending the same stuff to everybody without really learning and profiling those leads. Right?
Exactly.
Why are you sending a one-bedroom condo in Liberty Village to somebody that has come through your site looking at penthouses in Yorkville?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. And it's the same way, like just as you would qualify or make notes on a lead on your CRM, it's kind of a similar system that you need to have.
So let's go back to your team. You have a team of how many now?
I have 2 inside sales, and I have 6 agents.
Nice, okay. And the inside sales, can you tell me about them and what their role is?
Sure. So that was my first hire, was inside sales. And basically the role is conversion and also client care. So a little bit of both, but any of like the online leads that we get, it gets pushed through inside sales in order to make that conversion so the agents can do what they're good at, which is selling. Selling,
yeah, that's great. And your realtors, are the agents on your team, are they experienced? Do you start off with new people and train them?
It's a mix. We have some more experienced agents, and then I do have newer agents as well. So it's been dynamic, but for all of them, they still get the same type of mentorship, and we're pretty tight knit. We have team meetings twice a week, and we just go over everyone's goals. And I sit with each of them individually because someone who's been in the business longer will have different goals and have different expectations or business targets than someone who's brand new in the business, right? So it's very dependent on each agent's profile.
Okay. And what's your turnover like?
I haven't had turnover yet.
Good.
But my team's pretty fresh, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you attribute the fact that you haven't had turnover besides the freshness?
Besides the freshness, I think that if someone's looking for mentorship or guidance, I'm there, I'm offering that. I'm not I'm at the office every day, so I'm a very active agent. I'm in there with them, talking to them, even individually. Also, I do my best to try to keep them happy with business and what we have going on. I think that's important too. And it's what you have to offer. You can be a team lead and like really not offer anything, not even your time. It's either you're offering time, you're offering leads, like what is it that you're offering? So it is a balancing act though. I'm not saying like I'm perfect at it at all, and it's been a major learning curve, especially because this is newer for me to have a team.
How new is it, team-wise?
Like a year almost,
okay.
yeah.
Yep.
About approaching a year for almost all of them at this
Okay.
point.
How's the transition been from lone wolf style of running this
Yeah.
business to now running a team and being responsible for people?
It's a lot of pressure. Like it's interesting because I thought having a team would like alleviate the pressure on me more, but it's actually much more demanding. So that was a news flash. Not that I'm not happy about that. It's just a different type of pressure because
learning
not only
curve.
do you feel like you have to obviously provide for yourself, I feel an obligation that I need to keep us busy in this market that's obviously very difficult and keep them fed too.
Yeah. I'm going to jump into that then because I'm just looking at your numbers here, and don't worry, I'm not going to shout them out here, but they're impressive, right? Like in 2020 you had a great year, 2021 you had a great year, 2022 you had a great year, and you're having another great year in 23. I'm listening to agents complain across the board, and I call it the Tulum effect. Everybody's taking off to Tulum.
Good one.
And,
Wish that was me.
And they're waiting for the market to return, right? But you obviously haven't been waiting for the market to return. You've been taking advantage of it. So
I have.
what do you think the difference is in the way you approached your business that way?
So I thank you for looking up stats because I actually think that's really important to validify. Sometimes people don't do that, and I think younger or newer agents maybe look up to. Anyways,
I know where that's going. We can talk about that
we
too.
can talk about that later. That being said, that is one thing I'm very proud of. I'm very proud that our stats have actually gone up year over year, despite a market that's been drastically down. So
For
that's
sure.
probably my biggest accomplishment for the year. If you're running your business properly, you should be growing. And people need to buy and sell in any market. So if you're now standing out from the crowd because you genuinely offer a good service, or if you're truly operating a business, then your numbers should not necessarily be impacted by what's happening in the market.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to take more market share, and the agents that were kind of getting by just because they were in the right place at the right time are no longer getting that opportunity. Right?
Have you pivoted at all in this market? Like, have you looked for opportunities where maybe they didn't exist before, or it wasn't the way you ran your business before? Like, have you taken a different approach to things?
I would say I'm working 10 times as hard, investing more money into leads. So I was doubling down when people were pulling away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like in this business, you have to invest in your business if you expect it to grow. And I didn't know how that would turn out. I was like, I could be investing and doing all of this to not get a return in the end, but I was okay with that because I believed whether it's this year or next year or the year after, I'm going to reap the rewards of that, which is why we hired a new inside salesperson and did all those things. But I'm working a lot harder to hit those same numbers, like farming, like every type of lead generation an agent can possibly do, we're doing. We're hitting all of them.
Yeah, it's it's about having a plan, right? Like, so many people just go at this and they're looking to stumble upon commissions. And you and I were just talking about it. I keep saying it over and over. I think you agreed, but 97% of realtors are not entrepreneurs. And that's exactly why. Like, so many people just do not have a plan that they're following. They don't know where their next commission is coming from. They're just chasing their next commission, right? But having the proper infrastructure and systems in place to create opportunities in a market like this is what makes a difference.
I think like you hit it on the nose. It's the business plan is so important, and I find a lot of agents don't have a business plan, so they don't really know what they should be doing or how to hit the targets that they potentially have, or even writing down what their targets are for the year. And if you don't treat this business like a business, it's impossible to be an entrepreneur and to succeed in it. Like,
Yeah,
that's just
so many
what it
people
is.
are just satisfied with creating a salary, and that's fine.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If you create, I'm not just talking about money either. I'm just talking about the way you run your business, right? Some people are fine with making $100,000 a year, $75,000 a year, $150,000 a
Yeah.
year. You don't have to make $1 million in this business, but
And I tell my agents that too. I'm like, your goals don't have to be the same as everybody else's, right? Like,
No.
you might value other things that whatever. So it's not so much like monetary always, but you still need to make a plan even to hit 50
sure.
grand, 75 grand,
Exactly.
like whatever it is.
because
right?
and what I don't want to hear is complaints or pity parties when you're not doing business in a market like this.
Exactly.
It's because you didn't have a plan that you stuck to, right? And I think that's the difference that we were just talking about, right? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you start out?
I grew up in Unionville,
Okay.
in Markham. I'm
Okay.
a Markham girl. And then now I'm in North York. I'm actually not far from here.
Okay.
So
Nice and easy. This is easy to get to because of the
Very
highways.
easy.
Yeah. And what got you into this business to start with?
I would probably say it was my husband, who at the time I was just dating. And when we started dating, he was flipping a house. And a lot of our dates involved me helping him just whatever, paint, sand stairs, that was because he was there flipping it, whatever, renovating it.
Yeah.
And then I saw.
It's a really great way to pay for labor.
I did help install quite a few things. So anyway, I saw basically the process of that. Oh God, one second.
No worries. I just go over pneumonia, so I'm usually coughing.
Yeah, I'm getting over something too. Okay. So I basically saw the process of that, and he did it again. And when he did it the second time, I was like, oh, like, I really like this. Like, I could do this. And I was at a crossroads where my degree is in biochemistry, like in science. So I was literally just deciding what to do. And I just said, you know what? I'm signing up for my real estate license. I talked to a bunch of realtors. They all told me not to do it. They literally, all of them were like, no, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. And that's when I knew I should do it.
They want your husband's
Yeah.
business.
So they knew, exactly. They knew, that's when I knew I should do it. And I just signed up, like, did my courses as fast as I could. And I jumped, like, right into the pre-con side.
Nice. And how long have you been in the business now?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you, you haven't always been at Union because they're new. But
Yeah.
where'd you start out?
So I started selling pre-con for the builder. So I used to work on the builder side in sales.
Okay.
And then from there, I was basically recruited out to go into the resale side. And I joined the team in the beginning, which was great, and I highly recommend that for everybody. It was pivotal for my success. And then started kind of on my own.
How long were you on the team?
Oh, a long time. Like 5 years, I want to say.
And what do you think the biggest learning point was? That you
It was
saw there?
having the mentorship, because like you're still learning sometimes, like things just come up that you haven't faced before or whatever. And it was having the guidance or mentorship when you really know nothing as a new agent. Like the courses don't prepare you for what the job really is.
No.
So I had thankfully joined a successful team, and just watching how they operated, what they did, the connections they had, and just I really pushed myself. Like I took every opportunity to run their open houses, to door knock and geo target their listings or what just sold, and I got any potential other leads that came from there. Mm-hmm. And then it was working those leads to then create my own sphere basically, and referral network. Yeah. I still have leads that I share with them from that long ago, right? And I'll always keep that honesty between us, because it's worth much more than a percentage
Yeah, for
share.
sure. Yeah, this business about relationships, right? And it's funny because I think the old school mentality in this business was the lone wolf mentality, and eat what you kill and whatnot. But I think I see, like, maybe it's the younger generations that are coming in, which everybody likes to pounce on the younger generations, but I think that collaboration is just instilled in these people, right?
That's right.
And so it's I think as leaders you have to adapt to that and nurture it. Yeah. Pre-con. Tell me about the split between your business, like resale versus pre-con.
Honestly, I would say it's all about 50-50.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, about 50-50. Like, I don't post or talk about pre-con maybe as much, so people don't know like how heavily I dabble into it, but it makes up almost 50% of my business. Mm-hmm. And I really like pre-con. Like, that's the world I came from, so I know it like the back of my hand. Mm-hmm. And I think it's an incredible tool and lead source that most of all agents should be able to have some mastery in.
I agree. I love that you're saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's so many resale agents out there that
they're scared.
They're scared of it, and a lot of people don't like it because of the price points and the difference between the resale market. And I get that because I come from pre-con back, when Peter Fried started building his buildings, and I wasn't even in the business. I was just an investor. I used to start buying in all of Peter's buildings, and I was always paying $100 less a square foot
more
than resale, right? And now it's more, it's reverse and bigger gap than that, right? So I get people get frustrated with it, but you also have to look at some of the benefits to it, right? Being, there's people that just can't come up with deposits and a closing in the next 60 days. And being able to space that out, especially in a market like this where there's so many incentives right now from deposit structures and whatnot, you can space out a 20% deposit over 2 years right now.
And it's
right?
your chance to negotiate those too. Like we just did that for a client, and like I invest in pre-con as well. I think it's the only option for a lot of people.
Yep.
And if you don't know it, then you're not servicing your client because you're not getting them into the market when maybe they could be, right? And people always look at pre-con and they're like, oh, but that wasn't a big win. They only made X or whatever, but they're not actually calculating the actual return on their investment, which was the down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still a proponent of pre-con.
Yeah,
I
agree.
pre-con.
I agree. I think you're right. I think as professionals, it's our job to be versed in real estate.
Yes.
Right? And if that aspect of real estate is what fits your client, then you need to be prepared to
know it.
Work in and know it,
Exactly.
right? And the other thing, it goes the other way too. There's so many of the platinum agents are out there that are doing nothing but pre-con.
And they won't touch resale.
And there's so much resale business in their
own database.
Oh my
they
God,
just don't do it.
It's incredible. And so many of them are focused on digital leads, and there's really no building of relationships there, right? Back in the day, platinums used to be able to pick up the phone and call 10 people to move 50 units, and that doesn't exist anymore. They have to run a $50,000 campaign.
It's crazy.
And but they just let those leads go. And there's just so many people that are selling those condos in 3 years' time.
Assigning it, renting it, there's so much business that comes from that.
I'd love to and hate to see the numbers on some of these big platinums and how much money they left on the table.
Yeah.
Right?
You'll ask them though, they'll just say, I don't do it. I don't touch it.
Yeah.
So like you said, you have to do both. And there's instances where you'll have a client that pre-con doesn't make sense for them. And I'm like, 100% go for the resale and take advantage now or whatever it is. But, I like to offer all of it. Leasing, property, all of it. I think it's really important to do that because you're just increasing your referral sources so much more. And you just don't know where that stuff leads versus shutting out one great potential lead source.
Yeah, for sure. This market, how you feeling about the market these days? The last year, we just went through your numbers, you're doing a great job this year. So where do you see 2024 going?
I think it will be a slow start. But I'm anticipating a pickup. I just feel that it'll start getting busy in the summer, late summer.
This week's announcement was helpful.
Yeah, this week's announcement was helpful. I think there's still a lot of people just kind of hovering and waiting, but there's been such a minimal amount of transactions that I do believe the buyer demand's penting up, and it's going to give. So I think it's going to get better latter half of 2024 is my expectation. Mm-hmm. But I still think things will sell. Good houses priced well are selling.
I think that's the key, is being priced well, and people
gotta be priced.
People have to start taking a look at their expectations and reassessing things, right? It's not 2020 or 2021 anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the GTA. The sellers nobody wants to sell for less than their neighbor did 6 months ago or 12 months ago, right? And you have to hand it to them for having the grind for that, but at the same time, the market's the market, and I think unfortunately some people are going to be in positions where they're going to be forced to sell, right?
I agree.
Carrying costs are getting high, and I think everybody's feeling it right across the board right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're especially if you have investment properties and I was on variable and my payments have gone up quite a bit.
Oh, for sure.
You're gonna see a lot more of those being let go, which is why I think we've had the downtown condos are slow right now.
Are you mixing with your investment portfolio? Are you mixing in any short-term stuff at all?
Yeah, one of mine has an Airbnb potential.
In Toronto?
No, it's in Friday Harbor.
Oh, okay. And how's the rules up there for Airbnb?
Good. It's fine, yeah. We've been consistently Airbnb'd.
Nice. I was doing, with my properties back in the day, I was doing Airbnb before it existed. So
sure.
Airbnb didn't even launch yet, and I was doing HomeAway and VRBO, and there was nothing on the market, so the prices were incredible. I had zero vacancy.
Oh, that's amazing.
2.5 bedroom at the Thompson Hotel was bringing in $600 to $800 a month. Wow. Or sorry, $600 to $800
a week.
No, a night.
Oh, a night.
Yeah, I was making
$12,000
to $15,000. Yeah, it was crazy.
Amazing.
And then Airbnb came, and everybody and their dog flooded the market, and the price points came down, and that's the market though, right?
They made a bunch of new rules that are making it a lot stricter now too. recently.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't ask
and
me
the
what
city
they
and the
were,
city
but-
as well. Like the city's making it pretty difficult.
Yeah, it was the city, I think.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not the way it used to be, but you know that's life. Where was I just heading?
Talk about the
No,
market.
content.
Content.
Tell me about your content and your content planning and what you're trying to achieve with content.
So I was never trying to achieve followers or likes. So I think when you try to achieve, not, I think that's a byproduct of putting the right content out.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't, didn't care to be like Insta famous or whatever
No,
that's called.
influencer.
Yeah, I just want to sell real estate,
Yeah.
to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I think once you have the good stuff, that just tends to follow. So in terms of my content plan, I mean, I stick to a lot of what I teach in my boot camp, and I follow like my content pillar principles. And I actually, people think I have someone managing it or whatever. Like I post that stuff myself, like on the cuff. I'm a little bit of a control freak with that. Like I write my captions. I don't what is it called? I don't chat GPT
yeah.
that stuff. I write all those things. So I don't necessarily plan it out weeks or months in advance. I have an idea of what I need to do, and I do have like a full-time media on retainer. So I batch all the things I want to film, and then I release it throughout that month or whatever it is.
Okay.
So I know what I need. I don't necessarily write down exactly what it is every day.
And what is the message that you're trying to get out to potential clients or your existing clients?
So my messaging is obviously to generate business, right? But I think answering questions is very helpful to the audience. So I think a lot of realtors post for other realtors. So that's something that is a big mistake that we make, and you'll get realtors liking your posts and commenting the most. So that probably means like they're not buying a house from you. So you're probably posting to the wrong audience. So I try to answer questions that I think the audience needs to know. And then just connecting with people. I think connecting's really important, and being out there.
What do you say to the older school agent that doesn't believe in it, doesn't believe in the content, doesn't believe in the digital aspect of things?
So it's funny that you mentioned that. My broker of record, I remember years ago, and he'll attest to this, he was like, this is a total waste of time. Like, you're on this so much, like, forget it. And you ask him now, and he'll say the opposite, because he's seen what it's done for my business.
Yeah.
A lot of the leads I get is through my Instagram. Obviously, I use many other sources, but I think if you're doing it correctly, it is not a waste of time. If you're posting stuff that's not reaching the right audience or your messaging's not on point, then it is a waste of time.
And do you feel like you're actually engaging your, not new, not your network in the sense of the people that start following you, but the people that you've done business with? Do you feel like you're engaging them more because of the content?
Of course. Like, that's been so huge, where back in the day, I still send like the letters and, event in person, stuff like that. But having your clients on your Instagram is amazing. Number one, I like connecting with them. So I like seeing their life, their family. Like, you spend a lot of time, especially if it's like a buyer. You spend sometimes months with them, and then like you don't see them that often. And most times I actually genuinely like the people I work with. So I like to see what's going on in their life and catching up, and vice versa for them, because they see, oh, yes, I get her letters, emails, whatever. I see her here and there, but now I see her every day. So I know she's busy, she's active, and she's doing things. And that's like so underestimated. It's like a free tool to market yourself daily.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And the last few questions here. Mentorship.
Yes.
Who have been your mentors? Have you had mentors in your career, and how much do you rely on them still?
For sure. So my current brokerage owners, broker of record, they were my mentors, and that's the team I joined when I went off on my own in resale.
Interesting. Good.
So they have been my biggest mentors, and I still rely on them for just helping map out even how should I go about when I wanted to start a team. How do you suggest I do splits? How do you suggest I attack X, Y, Z? So I still ask them questions all the time of what they do or what they think, and I value their opinion so much.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for everyone to have a mentor, despite how successful you might be.
The team guidance for a new team lead is really important, right? It's, like we put a lot of things in place here just as people are building teams to help them with that infrastructure. because you're right. Like you know you need the help. You know you have enough business to go around, and you want to expand. But where do you start?
Where do you start?
Right?
How do
you navigate
do
these
this?
splits? How do you navigate the splits between the brokerage and yourself, as well as the team and all that? Right. So there's a lot goes into that.
Yeah.
That's great. These are the last two questions that everybody freaks out about.
Okay.
Your two favorite neighborhoods in the GTA?
I would have to say the beaches, and I would say Leslieville.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And your top two restaurants in the GTA?
Oh, okay.
This is one everybody stresses
One
about.
is easy, Bar Isabel.
Okay.
My next one, thinking.
You had a look on like you're going to give me like a shocker answer there.
It might be. So Bar Isabel for sure. What's one that wowed me that I loved? You know what? I'm gonna go with something easy because it's just always. No. I have it. No. Nove.
No way. What's that?
It's off of St. Clair. It's like a little hole-in-the-wall Italian restaurant.
Okay.
But authentic.
Like St. Clair and what?
Young.
Young.
But
Nice.
authentic Italian. Like they're from Italy, and
Yeah.
there's like I think 6 chairs in the whole restaurant,
Amazing.
and it's delicious.
I'll have to check that out. That's great.
Yeah, I would say that.
And last question is, where do you see this going in the next 5 years for yourself and the team?
Well, I want to take over the whole city. Joking, not joking. But I do expect, hopefully, for much more expansion. I do think I will be in the coaching realm a lot more. So I do foresee that for myself in the future, whether it's 5 years or 10 years, I'm not sure. But that's kind of like my long-term plan. So a really solid, well-oiled machine. And I want numbers in the very, very high quantities.
Amazing.
Of
That's great.
transactions.
Well, I'm sure you're going to achieve it. Where can people find you?
They can find me at Karina Eskandary. That's my Instagram. That's my everything. You will see everything there.
And the coaching you're going to be launching really aggressively in 2024?
Yeah, so coaching is going to be launching in 2024. It's going to have, I'm going to cater specific programs. So we're going to have one-on-one based programs, whether that's for content creation and just business development. And that's going to be, it's going to take effect very, very soon. So I'm excited to launch that.
Amazing. We'll have you back here for our
Yes.
agents then. That's
Yes.
great. Thanks for coming in. It's great.
Thank you for having me,
chatting
Mark.
with you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thanks.